You're about to play a dangerous game with the government, and unless you find the entertaining crash outs all over social media of people declaring that they're not going to be paying their student loans regardless of collections or wage garnishments, I want you to lock in. My student loans were defaulted under Trump's first term as president. I got the debt collector calls, the letters in the mail. I was extremely stressed all the way out. So I understand what you're going through right now, which is why I can sit here and tell you that you do not have to be overwhelmed, punching the air, kicking and screaming about how the system is rigged. Here's how I was able to stop my wages from ever being garnished, remove the student loan collections reporting on my credit, and eventually found myself with a loan balance of $0. If you're panicking right now, it's probably because you know that you will have been late paying back your student loans. While it's not enough for your wages to be garnished if you're 90 days late, it's very easy and pretty quick to get to 270 days late, which is how many days your student loans actually need to be in order for them to be cleared in default and for garnishment to go ahead and begin. At this point, you're cooked unless you leverage any of the options that you actually have before and after wage garnishment ever starts. Because if you're a W-2 employee, they're going to take your check. And don't think that you can hide by driving for Uber Eats, because gig workers and those of us who are self-employed, they can take your tax refund and levy your bank accounts, which would feel like a wage garnishment, except they're going to go right into your checking and savings and take whatever's due. Now, before we even get to the part where the government puts their little hands in our pocket to take a few $100s, well before that direct deposit hits, you should consider the following. Option 1 is an income-driven repayment plan, also known as an IDR. Option 2 is to consider placing payments in deferment or forbearance. And option 3 is to enter the loan rehabilitation program, which is what I personally did to get my loans out of collections and keep them out of my paycheck. And I'll touch on more of that at the end of this video. And option number 4 is for you to tap into any type of loan forgiveness program that you actually might be eligible for. And since I know most people are not, bonus round, consider if your current employer has any type of student loan repayment program, anything remotely similar to that. Because once wage garnishment actually starts to take place, you're going to want to act really fast. Most of the options I'm going to tell you about are on a tight time crunch. You want to make sure that your contact information is up to date with your current loan servicer. That includes your address, your email, your phone number. If everything is being sent to your mama's house, you might want to go ahead and change that. Now, your first option to stop wage garnishment is actually go back to your loan servicer and see if you can negotiate repayment terms. Now, in order for this to work, they will have to accept the terms, and you're going to have to make sure that they receive that first payment within 30 days from the date the garnishment notice was sent. So I would not lollygaggle. Now, option 2 is for you to request a hearing in writing. If you're successful in this, you can actually stop wage garnishment for 12 months or possibly reduce the amount that they're able to garnish from your paychecks. But that hearing that you request in writing would need to be postmarked no later than 30 days from the date the garnishment notice was sent. Time is ticking. Now, if you don't do anything else, you're going to want to make sure that you control the situation, because how I was able to get my wage garnishment stopped before it ever got started was actually taking advantage of option number 3, which is participating in the loan rehabilitation program. Now, this process is actually going to start with your student loan servicer, because you will have to sign a couple of forms agreeing to the repayment terms that are going to take place over the next 10 consecutive months. In the student loan rehabilitation program, you really only have to make 9 out of the 10 payments, and at the end, you'll actually end up getting brand new loans placed on your credit report. You'll still get to keep the 10-year. So if it's been a good 10, 15 years since you've been in school, you'll have those loans still on your credit report, which are going to help with your overall credit age. During this entire process, I took the initiative to go ahead and try to just get out of all of my consumer debt and my student loan debt on top of fixing my credit. And this took me utilizing the snowball method and also sending off dispute letters like me and Experian were pen pals. Focusing on getting to the end and holding on to why I was doing this in the first place allowed me to eventually get to the end, because I know you're probably looking at the amount that you probably have to pay over time, and that alone is overwhelming you, leaving you with this feeling like you're never going to have a life. And I did all of this before I met my husband, and all I was doing at the time was literally just going to work and coming home. Now, that may not be your situation if you're someone who does have a husband or you do have kids. Even if you don't and you feel like you didn't sign up for the rest of your life to be working this hard to pay off debt that was already set up for you to never pay off in the first place. The fact of the matter is that just simply having a plan and being able to see what the end would look like, regardless if you're paying your student loans off fast or slow, will make it less overwhelming for you. You just have to figure out how that journey is going to look like best for you and then lock in with that, because you can easily avoid having your wages garnished, your credit tanking, and living with this debt for the rest of your days. And while I do understand that all of the options that I mentioned still require you to make some type of payment, and it's likely your student loan balance is currently 2 or 3 times what you even borrowed in the first place, you want to sit down, put that plan together, and just look at it for what it is. Because as someone who did pay their student loans off in full, I 100% hope there's an executive order coming down the pipeline to wipe all the student loan debt out, but we're not there. And I don't think we're going to get there. But until that happens, you're going to have to be the one that's in the driver's seat, again, taking control of your situation. And keep an eye out on the student loan playlist on my channel for new updates on this very topic.